Welcome to part 21 of the Viking web traffic series. In this video I'm going to talk to you about offline methods. Those are methods that will give you both repeat and new visitors, and it will cost you anything from cheap up to very expensive depending on the method. Now, there is much to be said for the benefits of offline promotion and advertising. You'll hear me talk a lot about tunnel vision and the impact it has on your business strategy. The neglect of offline advertising methods falls squarely under my definition of tunnel vision. It's easy to see why people succumb to this. You've got an online business, so you advertise online. It's only logical. The problem with that logic is that it rests on a faulty assumption. The assumption that you don't advertise locally unless you're operating a business with local appeal. In reality, it doesn't matter if you're selling to a universal audience. That's actually the point. Even the guy down the street from you is part of that universal audience as far as the internet is concerned. So, why struggle to reach him online if you could just as easily induce him to go online by advertising to him where he lives? Here's the case for offline marketing. Your proximity to offline customers is going to give you an instant boost in terms of both intrigue and trust. Why? First, the internet and the world at large continue to grow a little more anonymous and a little more isolating every day. Ironically, the internet can actually relieve that sense of isolation when used properly. For example, think of a local business in your area, maybe a restaurant. Now visit their website if they have one. How does this make you feel? It's nice to check out the full menu at leisure in the comfort of your own home, isn't it? You might even find pictures of the waiters or your favorite table to bring back pleasant memories from your last dining experience there. If your favorite restaurant really knows their stuff, they've probably got some printable coupons, recipes, an online reservation tool, or customer feedback options in place. So, know this. These same psychological principles work in reverse too. Even if you're selling an e-book, there's a market for it in your backyard. You should advertise online and make a point of emphasizing that you're locally based. In fact, you might want to create a separate entry page for your local customers. Let them get to know you, offer them some deals that the rest of your visitors aren't privy to, and really play up the next door neighbor theme. About the expense. There's a common misconception that offline advertising is prohibitively expensive. After all, part of the great leveling influence of the internet is that it all makes it super cheap for the average person to start their own business. Overhead costs are generally under $1,000. In fact, you can get away with less than $100 in upfront investment as long as you aren't trying to start the next eBay. Well, somehow people have confused offline overhead costs with offline advertising costs. There are barriers to entry when it comes to starting an offline business, but advertising any business offline is far more affordable than most people realize. Now here's the truth. If you can afford to place a classified ad to sell your barbecue grill, you can afford to place an ad for your business. I'm not saying it's as cheap to advertise offline as it is online. If you're strapped for capital, you probably won't be able to afford online advertising either. You need a minimum of at least $50 to invest somewhere, and you need to turn around and reinvest your profit into additional advertising. Now here's offline methods and their average costs. Let's take a look at some offline advertising opportunities, and then we'll lay out some cost analysis. Flyers, bumper stickers, t-shirts, business cards, brochures, newspaper classifieds, local newscast segments, local websites, joint ventured with local businesses, public television and radio sponsorship, charity sponsorships, billboards. You got a mix of price ranges here, and a lot of the cost is dependent on print quality, volume, pre-existing standards, and demand versus supply. I'll take you now through each method one by one and discuss when, where, and how to use a particular method in a cost-effective way. First, flyers. Your cost here depends on things like paper weight, black and white versus color printing, page size, and the number of copies. A short run of small black and white flyers shouldn't run you more than about 0.03 to 0.05 cents per page at most commercial printers. Online, you can get 5,000 4x6 flyers for $145 at miamiflyers.com. If you've already got your own printer, you can print out as many flyers as you need for the cost of paper and printer ink. As far as distribution, you'll need to look for outlets in high traffic areas. This should be a bulletin board at a local coffee shop, a community kiosk, library, etc. Just make sure you have permission to flyer first.